Good morning, everyone. The session will be discussed on this following headings. So, what is the present situation in the insurance? How it is going to expand? And what is the role of public health facilities in this? How we are going to contain the cost? And what is the role of ambulatory OP care treatment? And what is the role of package cost in this? And what are the quality issues? So, on these lines, we'll be discussing here. First one, as you all know, it is growing, it is going to expand further, and it's going to stay. Because from the political point of view, it gives what is known as a visibility and assurance of delivery. So this is what catches the political eyes. From the public point of view, it gives them a variety of choice. See, particularly when it is from the government-sponsored, publicly funded insurance scheme, it gives them a protection with no cost. It's a free of cost, but at the same time, they have a variety of choice. And it has got all the attributes to contribute to the universal health care. That is, it increases the access, it increases the financial protection, it gives a way to utilize the services, and ultimately leads to the improved health care. That is, it got all the attributes towards the universal health care, and it's going to be the one of the way in which the finance is going to happen in the future. It's a demand side finance. Once you know that it's going to get expand, how it is going to get expand? So it could be simply by increasing the financial limit of coverage, the more and more poor people will be included. That is, to start with, it could be only 24,000 per annum will be the limit. That can be increased to 74, 1 lakh, something like that. So the population which is covered under the scheme can be improved. Further, you can improve in the other way also, the deeper package. That is, you can identify the poorest among the poor and give them the more services. Once you do this type of negotiated group insurance, there is a possibility that the other groups may be willing to join into the scheme by contributing or paying the premium. See, for getting a coverage of say around 1 to 1.5 lakh, the market price, the premium may be around say 1,000 or 2,000 rupees. But when you are part of this group insurance, the premium would be less than 25 to 35% of the market price. So the people may come as a group and join in this. And there is a possibility that the government can subsidize this premium according to the eligibility. So the more and more groups can join. And there is also one more way in which without actually paying the premium also people can join and they can do the co-payment or contributory payment when they are utilizing the services. In all this way, it can expand. As of now, when it is expanding, the expansion of the provider takes place mainly in the tier 2 cities, or whenever there is an increased capacity of the corporate hospital, it is getting expanded. But it's good we provide the services, but the point which you should remember is the hospital-based expansion, or the hospital-based provision of care may not be a viable option in the long run. See, we need to have a bigger role for the public hospital. That's the government hospitals. As of now, the government hospitals may not be able to compete with the private hospitals for various reasons. It could be the policies, it could be the leadership, it could be the institutional arrangements, it could be anything. They may not be even able to adapt to the changing situations. But this is not permanent. There is always possibility to change. See, look at this picture. This is the picture of an government hospitals created within a period of 10 months from the insurance fund. See, including the manpower who are working there are provided by the insurance claims in the government hospitals. There is a way. For example, it has happened in Tamil Nadu when the previous scheme was there 2 years back. The government hospitals could able to claim only hardly 1% of the total claims. But right now they are gone to the extent of 30% of the claims. So it's a huge money. That is, in fact, in this 10 months, around 130 crores is pumped into the government hospitals through this insurance scheme. This is a huge way of financing a government in addition to the state funding mechanism. This is one thing, but this is done, we have made so many measures to do this, including giving them a highest possible package, minimizing the documents, giving the incentive to the doctors, and in fact reserving the some of the procedures to the government hospitals. You know, when you're administering the insurance scheme, there are certain procedures which are prone for fraudulent activities, or there's a possibility of misuse. Those procedures we can very well reserve to the government hospitals. That's one of the strategy we can do it. But the way how we are going to utilize this, it's a really a bottleneck which are trying to explore further. And another issue in expanding is the cost containment. See, there will be a demand side moral hazard from the beneficiary who want to get the treatment only from the prestigious institution. Particularly when they are not making any payment, the natural tendency will be from this side. And from the hospital side also, there is a possibility of moral hazard giving an unnecessary surgeries or including an unneeded procedures. All these moral hazards can happen. But even though right now the insurance company has got an incentive to curtail this, that may not happen actually. Because if you see right now, most of this mass public funded scheme, the insurance companies may be acting like an administering the scheme either directly or through the TPAs. But their actual role to contain the cost may not be happening. It could be many reasons. The main thing which we understand is there is every possibility of they can reprice their policies in the next year so that ultimately they may not directly suffer. And since most of the policies for a shorter period, they may not have a long-term interest to invest on this risk management concept. This is one way, but for this, we thought in Government of Tamil Nadu, we made all this contract for an extended period, 4 to 5 years. And right now, the cost containment is mainly on the pre-authorization. So before undertaking any procedure, they'll get the approval from the insurance company. But we need to expand further. It's not only the pre-authorization where we are able to identify the unnecessary surgeries and fraudulent activities. We need to go for a bigger utilization analysis. So that will give you to what extent it is being utilized across the districts, across the hospitals, various procedures, what is the hospital infection rate, admission rate, readmission rate, adverse events, impacts, outcomes, all these can be measured. The idea is once you know all these things, definitely you will not be paying unnecessarily for the unwanted and less qualified services. This is one thing. And there is a possibility of always interlinking with the standard treatment guidelines, which definitely will bring down your cost. And you can use some gatekeeper mechanism or a referral mechanism. And the usage of generic drugs and advising them a standard medical devices with standardized cards, identification of an alternative methodology of delivering this service, restricting the high-end technological service, which is not economically viable, can also be considered. See, there are various ways in which we can do this cost containment. And one of the important things which we do on cost containment is the provision of ambulatory care, or we call it OP services. That is shifting from inpatient to the outpatient care. This is easy, but it's a natural evaluation also. But as on now, the capacity of either government or the insurance, it's limited in this particular area, and it is not tested fully, but there is a scope we can definitely do on this. And next coming is the package cost. See, before that, it was only payment of your fees once you receive the service. Now, we are linking it with every particular procedure according to the grades of the hospital. So we are very sure that we are paying to the near normal level. But what is needed is, as on now, we don't have a much scientific basis on which this package cost is being arrived. See, we may mostly adopt it, or we may divide into component wise and arrive at the package cost. But what is needed is that we need to sit with the provider, we need to sit with the insurers, arrive the cost, which is scientific, and the methodology in which is being arrived should be totally transparent, and it should be always linked to the various grades of the hospital, so that the overall cost will come down. But even though it is not yet confirmed as on now, but there is a way it can be brought down. But the risk or issue in which we need to understand is that once we are not changing our levels according to the spikes and drops, there is a possibility that hospital may pick up only those patients which are viable to them. See, there is a possibility that they may skip the critical patients where the consumption will be more, and they may limited cherry picking patients where only when they are getting profited, and dump the remaining patients in the government hospitals. And we always need to adjust to the marketing. So this is one way of doing it. And when you come into the quality issues, as on now, we have an online empanelment, monitoring and all, but what is needed is a regular assessment, recertification on the regular basis. See, now the insurance companies, as a purchaser of the big services, for example, our outlay is around 750 crores in a year. When they purchase this much of services from the private, definitely they have a better negotiation capacity to say that these are the minimum structures you should have. These are the minimum human resources you should have. And they can very well standardize the way in which the delivery of healthcare is taking place. And we can always incentivize an accreditation and pay for the quality. And as on now, if you talk about IT, we are using IT in almost all the level, right from the online empanelment, biometric enrollment, issuing a smart card for identification, deduplication of the entire database, giving an electronic pre-authorization, claim management, transferring the funds electronically, getting the grievances from the public through call centers, maintaining electronic patient records, having a cloud computing, and monitoring various functionaries through online. See, all these things are there, but we have a further scope to improve in which we can use this IT for developing a protocol, cost containment, triggering. All these things we can do further, and there is a big scope for it. And patient grievances, the things, ultimately we run the scheme for the benefit of the patients or the public. See, what is needed is we should ensure that the necessary message reaches the public. They should know where to get treatment, when to get treatment, how to get treatment, what are the documents needed to treatment. For reaching these messages, we have many more mechanisms, but it needs further. And ultimately, what is needed is whether the patient is really satisfied with the treatment in which it's being delivered to him. So once you're able to get that information directly from the beneficiary, particularly from his residents, definitely it will give us a feedback so that we can improve further. And finally, I want to say, the insurance is here, it's going to expand, but what we should remember is it is not the replacement to the existing system. It's only a supplementary to the system. And if you keep this in the concept, develop the government hospital, develop the insurance, definitely we'll be in a position to deliver the better care. Thank you.